She has worked with the reintegration of ex-former child soldiers. She has worked within gender integration and conflict resolution in East African countries. I would like you to give a big hand and a big warm ICD welcome to Ms. Espérance. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for this welcoming. And I'm really pleased to present my experience. I'm really pleased to present my experience in East African countries, but especially in Rwanda, which is these countries was really, as you know, you heard a lot about Rwanda. I would like to share this experience in the conflict situations. And I would like to welcome my professor, because I'm a master program student here in cultural diplomacy and international relations in Dubrovnik. And I'm pleased that our professor in national branding is here, Nick Tost. I don't know if you have like a few words to say to our guests. Just a little bit.
I'm happy you invited me to your
Yeah, and my colleagues, and thank you for being here. So before I start, I would like to ask you, if you hear about Rwanda like the first time, what do you think, like Rwanda, country of Rwanda? What is coming first in your mind?
The genocide.
Yeah. So it's all like nobody knew this country. Like it was not interesting for on the international level for other countries. Or it started by the genocide in 1994. The history of Rwanda, it's really like a small country. It's landlocked, and it's in Central Africa, especially East Africa. And so the genocide was ethnic. It was ethnic group. They killed each other, but it was like a Hutu. They killed Tutsi, and it was about like 8,000 people. They get killed, and so almost 2 million they were displaced outside the country, which was really like a tragedy, because the international community, they fought like to rescue people. It was like a scandal and a surprise, because it was only 100 days. I guess some of you saw a documentary or films about this history. So if I just talk a little bit about about our history, our past, it started with the colonization. So if like I care about what is cultural diplomacy in Rwanda started in this time of colonization, when the first people came, like foreigner people, which was missionaries and which was colonialists. They came to Rwanda, and not only in Rwanda but in Africa. You know all about this story, and so it was this dividing the genocide, like the far causes for the genocide. It was about this politic of colonialism, of dividing, because I know like somebody were really interested about the history of Rwanda, Hutu and Tutsi, it was like social classes. It was not like ethnic, because we are a small country, we speak one languages, and we didn't have this kind of differences. So in the colonialist time, they have a political to divide and to integrate this culture and population. So in dividing, they divide the social classes. And the royal family, they were Tutsi, and it's like people works, or I think like slaves, or like the second class, there was Hutu. And the Hutu, in colonist time, they divide this group. And now this is like a far causes of the genocide. As you can read there, and you can see on this photo, it's like they were measure the noses, and like they could say if you were Hutu or Tutsi. And this is the time when the first colonialists came. And the first one, they were Germans, and the end of in the First World War, they were Belgium. And So the cultural diplomacy in this time were used in Belgium time because they were the one who were implicated in dividing and this time. But this is like a cause which is really far. So in the post-conflict situation nowadays, as you can imagine, when a country have a genocide, it's really unimaginable. It's really strange to put people together, like to promote unity and reconciliation and to do therapy. So it was like a lot of people, the family they were killed, there was a lot of orphanage, there was a lot of displaced people. It was kind of chaotic country. So, and why this time between genocide and nowadays, why Rwanda became like popular, which kind of cultural diplomacy happened this time, which kind of branding happening, and how Rwanda is known not only by the genocide, but the great job they did this time. So I think on my personal experience, what I can share, it was not a political program, but it was also personal, individual experience, because people, they need hope, they were tired of conflict, because this region is characterized by conflict. So they needed to believe in something else. The government didn't force people like to come together. So like this is like a post-conflict situation. The current government, which like Paul Kagame, I think some of them, you heard of them, he's the current president. He was also like in the Tutsi families, and he's like ambitious man, and he was popular because he promoted a lot of programs that we will see. So if you can read quickly, it's about in post-conflict. This was kind of program that we used. I don't know if somebody can read, just like if somebody can read a little bit quickly. And AJ, can you read about quickly?
You want me to read it out loud?
Yeah, quickly.
The whole thing?
No, just you can also raise your mirror. You
Which-
can just point the point, like.
Which part do you want me to read?
Yeah, like a culture of inclusiveness, and then.
Just point to which one you want me to read. Okay. Building a culture of inclusiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Establish institutions that promote unity and reconciliation, rule of law and good governance, transparency.
I believe there.
Like that? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
So this was like a kind of a program we have, because the first one was like, we are all Rwandans, we are not, there is no Hutu and there is no Tutsi. So it was even like strange for Human Rights Watch, because if someone killed your family and then the government law said you don't have any more to talk about Hutu and Tutsi, because when you should mention in public, it was kind of sanctions, even in prison. So they started like to work in the therapy way to forget about this ethnical at the first time. But we will come later about that. So, as a master program student in cultural diplomacy, we wanted to talk about how cultural diplomacy was in this time, how they use cultural diplomacy in conflict resolution, in therapy, and how they use these soft powers. So in my class here in ICD, this was like the definition of cultural diplomacy. It's, I guess you were talking in the conference about this a lot, but I would like to summarize the definition of cultural diplomacy. It's the exchange of ideas, information, values, systems, traditions, beliefs, and other aspects of culture with the intention of fostering mutual understanding. So it's like using soft power in in peace building and conflict resolution. So as in international community, they fed Rwandan government and Rwanda, they have to face. And the first one was like to promote people repatriation of Rwandan refugees. And as you saw in these pictures, there is Ingando, it's like a solidarity camps, reconciliation, political indoctrination, and post-genocide Rwanda. So I just want to show the pictures and to give you an image, but we will come back later. So in cultural diplomacy, we use this kind of method or key of agent, agenda, vehicle, target audience. I guess if you had Mark, and he's something he say often. Yeah. So they use this kind of key to promote, but this is like theoric. In the practical, we will watch image and something to help you to understand. The most cultural diplomacy which was successful was unity and reconciliation. So after this tragedy, like international community, everybody had like bad consciences, and they wanted to help in different way, because it was, as I said, it was like irreparable, I don't know if you say irréparateur situation in Rwanda. And it was also because the Hutu, the majority, how can you judge, how can you put all those people in prison? There was no space, it was like a really, I don't know, I think you heard about it, was like an unbelievable, successful story about this unity and reconciliation. So this like is the International Criminal Tribunal of Rwanda. They were based in Tanzania, so they were hoping justice in Rwanda and to incriminate, I guess you say that, the genociders, but they failed because it was too much, and it was also kind of injustice because they were based in Tanzania, so they were judging only, the process was judging the investigators and the rich people who like started the genocide, which was really a kind of injustice because the poor one, the brainwashed one, they were staying in Rwanda in the prison in small places and then really bad conditions. So it was kind of a failure on international level, but also in Rwanda inside. So Gacaca is like a very, very old traditional, even before the colonization, was like a traditional code, how people they used to resolve conflict in societies. And so because genocide in Rwanda so of course it was encouraged by French government, it was encouraged by somehow by international communities, and a lot of things happened about the genocide, but it was only for Rwanda. And how can we resolve this problem with our own traditional, with the soft powers? So this gacaca, it's like, as you saw here on the pictures, so it was like a big publicity, and media worked a lot about this. As you saw in these panels, it's in Yiko gacaca, like a traditional court. And the photo over there, it's like people called Inyangamuga. It's like some people elected in every village to judge. They have the capacities, of course, they have also basic formation. And the other photo, they're like genociders, and the public, the observers. It looks really simple, but it works after 17 years. We will see, we will come back later. So what is gacaca? Gacaca is like a judgment of the grass, and offers a pragmatic and community-based solution. Gacaca meaning judgment on the grass, offers a pragmatic and community-based solution. So if I don't want to read about theoric words, it was a traditional way and to resolve conflict and to make justice. So as you saw here, it was not only Rwandan, but there was also the churches, they were implicated, and some foreigner. This is a Belgian priest, Guy Teunis. He was judged in front of Gacaca in 2005. Yeah. So if I use like the method of cultural diplomacy, Gacaca, the agents was like the Gacaca jurisdiction but also the Inyangamugayo. Inyangamugayo, they are those people were elected as judges. And so the objective was like eradicate the culture of impunity, to show the truth, but also to help like survivors' family, where is their bodies and where is their, like was like a kind of talking in a traditional way in a small group about the conflict. You killed my family. It was like this, the judges are here in front of like who I am, and the genociders, they're this side, survivors in the public, and then you talk and you resolve it in a traditional way. It's really simple, but it works because psychological and therapy, it helps you to talk, and because we didn't need like those judges from international court to talk about our conflict. So this was really like a soft power. And also, religion plays a lot in our culture since the colonization, I mean the Christianism. And in the genocide, a lot of people, they were killed in church. And the priest, as you saw, like Mr. he was implicated. So they also, we had to use this religion in the Gacaca, because if our, since many years, if our belief, if our culture is relies on the religion, it means like forgiveness, it means like repentance. So it was like Gacaca were using also this kind of key of Bible or religion. So the target audience, of course, they were the genocidal survivors, but also instigators, and also like the population were implicated in massacres. So the success of Gacaca nowadays, it was like the participation was massive. Everyone participated, because every village have like autonomous court, and everyone was implicated somehow. Because if even you didn't lose someone, if even you didn't kill someone, but you were there, you saw it, so everyone were implicated and talk. Everybody, if you're young or old, or so it was really popular because the media, international organization, the government, they like promote and encouraging people to work on it. So if you saw here, it's like one of the famous of newsletter in Niko Gacaca, traditional Gacaca, and this is like a prisoner. This is the color of a prisoner, and the genociders. So they also read it, and they were the things I didn't talk because of this situation of a small prison, like a violation, like human rights in prison. They were also like wanted to repent, because if you could repent, they had kind of I don't know how do you call it in English, like there's something you get like as a punishment, but not a prison, like something I don't know. So we will come about this later. Yeah. So after this post-conflict situations, it was very, very, very important, like how they can use soft power, not only justice, but how can they give hope to Rwandan population, and which kind of soft power they use. They used also education. Really, education was very successful also after the genocide. And I mean, because it was now like 17 years ago, it's still, but it was like the key of the conflict resolution. So I think if you had like a Rwanda in the parliament, nowadays it's like women, they win 50% place in the parliament. We have a lot of women in parliament, but also ministers. So there was like, because a lot of people, they came outside in the repatriation of refugees. So they brought this culture outside. They were the diaspora, and a lot of Rwandans, they were really missing to have this kind of reconstruction of the country. So they were like working with the government to promote every soft power to help the people. Of course, there is a therapy. Of course, there is all the stuff like to rebuild your own self, like to face which kind of atrocities you saw in your life. But there is also a kind of hope, because if you're studying, or if you're just like having a business, or if you're working in some kind of international local organization, yeah, it's really like a kind of, it makes you to promote you, or it encourages you to think about something on your life, something to build your future. It was a psychological way. So the education helped a lot. I think they told me I don't have much time, I have to go quickly. So in education, we had like a lot of exchanging programs, which helps, because before Rwanda, they didn't travel. They were not known outside because they didn't also travel. They were just locked in the conflict and this kind of political, which was chaotic. So, and after this opportunity was like a huge program in education, was also scholarships, because nowadays a lot of Rwandan, they study in South Africa and in Northern Africa and West Africa, and they also come in Rwanda. And this is like now of an education where there was also like some Haitian students who study in Rwanda. So those people who lived conflict, or like who lived this kind of resources disaster, they also come in Rwanda to share with our traditional and culture and past. So they through everything's mixed, but it's one of soft power and key of cultural diplomacy. So the high technology, it was because it's not only because of the history, but it was the Rwandan government, they really worked a lot to promote investment inside the country. So there was universities of, like the one famous, like KIST is a technology university, which is to promote a lot of ICD, but investment in the mobile phone now, like in Rwanda, it's like 80% of the population, they can have access of mobile telephone and internet, which is like help people to communicate each other, but to rebuild themselves. Yeah, so there is like a lot of program, also a lot of international organization helps in education and high technology nowadays. So this is a help people to exchange, to talk about conflict, but not only conflict, but to talk also about like self-development. Yeah. So this is like the program from USID, which helps a lot in different departments, especially in communication and peace building. Yeah. So the point I want also to mention is the East African community, which is like 5 countries in East Africa, but they wanted to invite Sudan and Malawi. So they, after this, Rwanda is just like branding itself about the unity and reconciliation, but they want also to be open what our neighbors countries they think. So I think you heard about East African community, and they work a lot about in human rights, conflict resolution, poverty reduction, common market, and so on. So which is really kind of soft power that people they use to talk a lot about the conflict. Am I late? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is like a lot of NGO we had, and then helps a lot international NGO, international organization. They work in peace conflict rebuilding, good governance, health, and I don't also forget, because every Rwandan have now health insurance, which is really like something doesn't happen in lots of countries in the third world. So Rwanda today, it's what is the success of the soft power? The success is realized also because of the Rwandan government. were known of in their fight of corruption. They are less corrupted, and they are also like work hard, and they work in the privatization, in the investment, and so on. So as if you can read it quickly, it's it's how they outside and like international communities, but outside how they see Rwandan. If you saw in this photo, there is Tony Blair and President Kagame, because they have like a huge organization which like advising a lot the government in good governance. Yeah. And a lot of people, a lot of investors, they come now in Rwanda because it's the most of safest country now, and it's also like they are open like to listen for outsiders, the image of outsiders. This is like Rwanda Investment Forum. I think you can recognize some faces. I don't. And so for about economy, there is also a lot of, we can talk about tourism and a lot of stuff which is like it helps a lot, but the most famous one is like a coffee. Coffee now on the international market, it's really known in Starbucks, but also in this international chain. As you can see, it started in 2008, it's really grown up. Yeah. And so this is kind of breeding international relationship and self-confidence, because a lot of Rwandan, I'm also here because of this kind of program. They are really like open to study, to exchange, but in all department, which becomes like branding itself, and also using our past as a key of success. Intercultural exchange, we have a lot of like a Confucius Institute, Goethe Institute, Centre Français, USA Public Affairs, and there is also Rwanda Cinema Center, it's called Hollywood, and it was also known, and International Music Exchange, which happening like every year in Rwanda, sport and cultural diplomacy in Rwanda, and Rwanda's diaspora. I will just go quickly. This is Confucius Institute. They succeed in Rwanda. Not only Chinese, they teach China in Rwanda, but they also give a lot of scholarship to go to study abroad in China. But Chinese also, they study in Rwanda. It's really, really successful cultural diplomacy in Rwanda, and they exchange about their past. I will go further as fast as I can. So Confucius in Kigali, they give Chinese language courses. They are implicated in a lot of development, but they also like advise this government in development. So this is like a lot of Chinese, they teach of young generation Kung Fu and this kind of yeah, I don't know, kind of traditional in China, which is can help psychologically, but also can help. I don't know exactly, but what Kung Fu it helps, but yeah. So this is the classes of Chinese and a lot of high technology and exchange. So. Now, as you say, we are like 4th anniversary of China-Rwanda diplomatic relations, and they are really like, they are popular inside the country, and a lot of people, they like to speak Chinese, they are impressed by China. This is like, on the day of this anniversary, they could also sing in China and so on. Yeah. It's also, I think it's also this competition on international market, because they want also to promote Chinese language as English. It's always between this competition between Anglophonie, Francophonie, and Chinese. I don't know. So Goethe Institute, they do a great job in Rwanda. They invite lots of people from here to exchange in education way, traditional, and some of them, if there is Germans, if you know Massive Turn, they came to Rwanda and promoting peace. And so this is like kind of exchange between German and Rwanda. And in literature, there is also lots of books written between German and Rwanda, and also because they were the first colonialists, so we have this kind of inter-exchange since many years. This is like a museum, Deutsche Museum in Rwanda. I just wanted to show you these cultural things because they really promote conversation between both countries, between international level, between this international communication. He was in Rwanda, and now there is a museum for him, and it's really popular. And he stayed in Rwanda, and at the end he was also Rwandan. And it's not talking about history of Germany, but natural history. It's really like known and visited a lot. Centre Culturel Français, I think everybody knows what they do around the world, even that's here in the corner they are. So they promote a lot Francophonie, and the French diplomacy, it's very known all over the world. And in USA, they are like, they are German, they are first. They have partnership between German and Rwanda, the first one, but USA, they also plays like a huge role in cultural diplomacy in Rwanda. As you saw here, Mr. Bush, when he was president, he visited Rwanda like 2 times, I guess. And there is a lot of scholarships, there is a lot of, like a Fulbright program, which is popular in Rwanda. Rwanda Cinema Center, which is Hollywood, they promote history of Rwanda, but also they are talking about the past colonialism, and everything I try to summarize now. This is the festivals. There is lots of festivals and exchange of culture. And it really looks simple, but those people, they not come only to promote their dance, but they talk about conflict and they talk about their past. It's really a huge exchange, and it's a key and soft power of cultural diplomacy. Sport, of course, in South Africa was like a success with Mandela, Nelson, but in Rwanda they also use it to talk about conflict. Diaspora at the end, this is the end, I was talking too much. Diaspora, they play a huge role in reconstructing countries because they come to study abroad and they brought what they study in Rwanda. And also Kagame, he's popular in diaspora community because he offers a lot of opportunity to work in Rwanda, which is really like now a major investment of Rwanda and major success. Here in Rwanda, we have Rwanda Connection. We meet often, and we have a project. We are thinking about project that we should go and do in Rwanda after our studies or after we're staying here in Germany. So I think this is the end. Thank you for listening to me.
Big hand, thank you. Are you available to answer questions? Are you available to answer questions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions, please? Rwanda seems to be the place to invest in. There's a lot of Chinese involvement, American involvement, English involvement. It seems to be now the country in Africa that needs not only investment, but people help. Got a lot of initiatives going on there. So any questions, please? One question? Thank you.
My name is Gemaita. Just 2 or 3 questions for you. You have mentioned about the failures of the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda.
I don't really listen.
I'm saying you have mentioned about the failure of the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. That is one of the challenges that you said that the people, there is no ownership of the process because it's based in Arusha, which is in Tanzania, and not in Rwanda. In your own perspective and in your own thinking, do you think if the ICTR was to be based in Rwanda, would it have succeeded? knowing that you came out of genocide just a moment and the issues about suspicion was too much in your country, would you think it would have succeeded if it was in your country? Two, on the same, you have seen the ICTR was not successful as compared to other organizations, but you as a country, because it's your responsibility for criminal accountability for the people or for the people alleged to have committed the crimes, what you as a country have you done, not just to blame the international community, because the genocide was committed by Rwandese people, and so it's the Rwandese people who actually should prosecute those people, not wait for the international group to do so. Then on the same, considering ICTR and the International Criminal Tribunal for former Yugoslavia, what would you consider? ICTY and ICTR, what would you consider to be more successful? Is it ICTY or ICTR?
Okay.
And then on the same, because I also want to get experience from a Kenyan perspective, we have the International Criminal Court. Some 6 or so Kenyans are before the International Criminal Court. We have a divided opinion in Kenya, whether we really need the people to be before the International Criminal Court, or we could have a special tribunal in Kenya. So, if you say that ICTR failed, left on your own as Rwandese people, would you have handled the issue in a better way than ICTR has managed to do?
Okay.
And then, on the same ICTR, there is the issue, but ICTR is not referring the cases to Rwanda. There are some cases that it's about to end its mandate this year. Its term is ending this year. And you can find that most of the cases that are residual cases that have not been resolved, it has not made a contract with the government of Rwanda because it refused referring the cases to Rwanda. The Rwandese government is not in a position to do so. And I remember your president saying that ICTR is not credible. What do you have to say about the same issues? Okay. Thank you.
I will answer this because if there are many, I can. Where do you come from again?
I come from Kenya.
Kenya, yeah. I am a student. I'm not an expert in justice. I'm just like sharing what I did here in cultural diplomacy, but also my personal experience and what I observe at my university back home. And so I can try to answer, but don't take my answer as an expert answer because I'm a student like you. Yeah, exactly. So I didn't say if you say like ICTR, they failed. I don't want to say to blame them, to blame international communities. It was like there was like a part of international justice to help Rwanda to find justice, but it was not only for international community. It was really hard to understand the culture and what Rwanda they need, because in Rwanda they need to resolve their problem their own selves. So that's why they failed, because they were in Arusha. They were also actually based in Rwanda. They had like some agencies based in Rwanda, because they was judging high-level genociders, like investigators, planners, rich people, government, rich families, which was injustice, because the massive, like 8%, they were in Rwanda in small prison. So it was kind of, the problem was in Rwanda, and it's still now resolving by Rwandans, but it's not about like blaming international community, but the government of Rwanda, they started to promote how can we resolve our own problem using our traditional soft power. It's not like blaming how you fared, and I can't really explain it as an expert, but this is like my own observation. I don't know if you're satisfied. So.
I think so. I don't think he's satisfied, so he wants to come back.
Just one question, just really, you didn't need to answer this one for me, because international law is not about getting the small people. We in Kenya, we arrested around 2,000 people in 2007. That was a good chance for Kenya actually to reform itself, and it's reforming. But We have other cases that are still ongoing and being investigated and prosecuted in Kenya. And so I don't this is my personal opinion, maybe you should not take it. But this is my observation. And I would want to say, it's upon the Rwandese government, really, if the international community prosecutes the people who bear the greatest responsibility for the crimes, then, because these people, if you are left with them in Rwanda, they will pull the strings. They actually can give the money to the president. They can bring down the judiciary, and everything doesn't work. So for the small fish, we call them small fish, should be prosecuted by your people. And I would also want to know on the same, do you have a Truth and Justice and Reconciliation Commission, as was the case, or is the Kashasha Court equivalent of the Truth Commission of South Africa?
Actually, there is the Rwandan embassy, and they are more experts in this subject. Maybe she can help me.
Right. You come from the Rwandan embassy, do you? Okay.
So thank you very much. So my name is Elizabeth. I'm from the Embassy of Rwanda, but I'm also here in private, of course, today. But I take this opportunity to give some clarifications. So first and foremost, we cannot compare ourselves with Kenya. Rwanda was genocide-driven. Rwandans killed Rwandans. This is a fact which nobody is denying. But coming from this situation, Rwanda in '94 was not capable to take the judicial investigation of what happened. The only thing we could do actually was to see that we survive. So this was our first point after genocide. How can we survive? And what to do about those who were killed. So what ICTR did was to say, okay, we have some main people which we can identify who triggered this tragedy, which is a big tragedy. And they did so, and we're very happy about it, so we don't question the role of the ICTR. And I'm happy to inform you that actually the ICTR, with last year, started to transfer cases to Rwanda, because now after 17 years, we are capable, our national judiciary, to take charge of them. So the other second question, Truth Commission. We have the Commission of Unity and Reconciliation, which is only about that, about how to integrate people who came in prison back to the society. And in Rwanda, we don't distinguish between small and big fishes. Because if your brother kills your sister, if your neighbor comes and kills you, and you live 25 years together, it's as hard as if a minister would actually give the order to kill somebody, because this hurts you more. These are the people you must live with. So the Rwandan are more, they're caring more about what happened with the people in my neighbor. In Rwanda, we say we're living on the same hills, because we are saying we have more than 1,000 hills. So if you have to live with somebody for 20 years, and you know these are the people who are responsible for the death of your sisters and your kids, it's not very easy. So this is what the Commissioner of Reconciliation is doing. The big heads of the genocide, we need to get them. They're important for our truth finding, for getting to know what's happening. But for the future of Rwanda, we don't make a distinction between small and big fishes. We must get everybody right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Question answered? Still not satisfied. They will still be here for this afternoon, so you can speak to them for a bit longer. Any more questions, please, before we break? No? If no more questions, can you give another big round of applause? Give